Hello guys, welcome back to Pause and welcome to Planet Coaster. Now today we're going to take a little look at one of the new features in the 1.4 update, and that is this little badger here, the scenario editor. So we're going to take a quick overview, a quick look through and just have a very basic look of what is going on in the scenario editor. So let's go in and get started. So we're going to create a brand new scenario. It's the first time I've ever done one of these, so bear with me. So let's do it in... let's go for tropical. Let's do tropical. That's how we call it. Tiserland, as I'm drinking Tiser at the moment. Let's go. Okay, so scenario creation mode. Create a scenario for yourself or for other players to enjoy. Use the scenario creator to play around with the settings like objectives, research, demographic, finances, staff and more. You can lock down your ride, shop, buildings and scenery. Players can not delete or sell these objects and you'll have to build around these obstacles you place for them. And obviously we can share them on Steam. So let's get cracking. So here's our little scenario editor bit. Let's come to that in a second. Let's first have a look at the land that we have. So obviously in the scenario editor now we can edit the area that we have. So is that this one? How do I choose that one? So this big blue box is how I edit, is how I choose how big I want the park to be. So for example, we could have it tiny, teeny, teeny, tiny, teeny, tiny, really small there, or the biggest we can go, which is that. And we can go there. And we can go as high as we want. So we've got 1,000 by 1,000 basically. And that lifts up, so I don't really need that. So that's as big as you can go. Basically anything outside this area is just a non-editable image. That's just it's just a texture. But within this you can fully edit now the full map and the full terrain. And this is obviously we're setting this for use in the scenario. So you could have it. Oh, let's go tiny, tiny. You could have it really small, really thin like this. So just up to that path. So you could only give them that amount of space to edit with. But you can still edit all this within this scenario maker. So to show what I mean by that, let's use that. Let's have that there. There we go. So now if we come in a bit closer, I think there's a line. Yep, there you go. You can see the very thin line of where the boundary is for the park. So here is the lovely entrance plaza we've just made. Did I put the boundary inside or outside of it? I can't remember. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it's there. We can go a bit smaller then, eh? Let's go a bit smaller. There, let's do that. There we go. So now we should look down here and the barrier, the boundary is here across the sand. So that's this side is where the players can create. This side is only what we can create, but we can do anything we want now. So we can edit the terrain. Let's make some lovely little some spikes. Just big old spikes here. I don't know why we want to do it, but there we go. We've got some lovely little hills of varying variety, and there's some weird shapes. So the genius of this is you don't have to have all this crap anymore. So I could have a spawn point right in the centre of the park. And let's do that. Add a spawn point. So there, done. So if I zoom into this badger, we now have a new spawn point just there, right in the middle. So this is useful for, well, loads of things. I mean, you could build a central entrance. You could have a station where everyone gets sort of dropped off. You could have a hotel where everyone comes out of. You could have numerous entrances. You could have a main entrance over here, like we've currently got. You could have an entrance within the park. You could have another entrance over here, like a car park. It really does open up a load of opportunities to use this. So that's this sort of spawn and all that kind of bullshit. Let's have a look at objectives. See how they work. So let's make an objective. Let's do an easy. Let's do a firework display objective. So we want a firework display that has at least 300 guests watching for at least 150 seconds, with a condition. You're going to do deadline. So I have a condition. So that's going to be our first objective. That's an easy objective. So starting out slow. This one's going to be a medium. So we're going to have catch pickpockets. We're going to ask them to catch 74 pickpockets by March of year 3. Confirm. And hard. I want you to build 10 coasters with minimum of 1 inversion. Does that apply to each? Would that apply to every single one? Maybe. So 10 coasters with a minimum of 1 inversion and a minimum excitement of 5. There we go. There's our objectives. They're quite tricky, but it's only a test, so who gives a crap? So all the other, that's just an overview of some of the objectives you make. In park, obviously this is where we edit the thing we've just done. The opening and closing times of the park are here. The scenario start time. How often rides break down. There's various capacities and restrictions you can add on here. Finances, where you can set up loans and stuff like that, and tell them how much money they start with, or if they start with unlimited, like in a sandbox. Which is useful if you're building the scenario and then wanting to build a sandbox park. Like I probably will bring Hysteria Valley into this at some point, just to tweak it around the outside area. So in terms of research, you can lock or unlock what the player begins with in the scenario, and what they are able to research, or you can set everything to unavailable if you really want to. So you could say, I only want them to have 1 ride and they are not able to research anything else. If you want to be that cruel, you can do that. Marketing, you can set how much, which marketing campaigns are available and how many you can have at any one time. Staff, you can figure out all the new features with staff, so with the staff buildings, the how happy they get and all that kind of stuff. And then you can set specific types for each staff. So you can have really lazy janitors, you can have like hard-working mechanics, and so forth. Guests, you can set how happy they are. Move all these sliders up and down to change everyone's attractiveness. So this is, if you want it to be a teenage park, do that, and you only get teenagers in there. If you want it to be quite a family-friendly park, bring that bell end up here like that. So that's what this bit does. It just sets the demographic. Guest traits, you can choose specific things here. So how often will they spawn with a certain trait, and these are how you can sort of change them all down there. So if you want to have more lazy people in the park, stick that up to high, and if you want hardly any poor people, then set that down to low. That's a society summed up, really, isn't it? So that's how you do the guests. Crime, you can turn this on and off in here. Change what percentage of vandalism and all that kind of stuff, and all the stuff about pickpocketing. You can do all that, edit all that. So here's the other thing we can do in the scenario editor. If we plonk down a bit of scenery here, so let's put down a massive rock. That's there, and then another rock there, and then another rock there, and then there's an archer on top of the rock, just having a shoot. What you can do here is have a little select of all these things, and then I can press this little button here, which locks all items for scenario players. So if you press that, as soon as you load up the scenario, you can't edit or change any of those. So you're basically stuck there. So the entrance of your park, you have the lovely archer up there, and you can't do anything about it. He's locked there forever. So yeah, that's great. So that's one thing you can do in the scenario editor. Let's get the lights back on because it's getting a bit dark in here. Okay, so that's a very brief overview of the old scenario. So there he is. Let's have a look. So, should we have a play of the old park and see what happens? I think we probably should. Let's. So, how do we save? How do we save this? So we save it in here. A new scenario, ties land. So save scenario and play. Let's do that. Let's see how it comes up then. So now you can upload that to the Steam Workshop if you want to. I don't know why anyone would, but here we go. Oh, I didn't edit this, so you can obviously edit the writing here to have it say whatever you would like. A little storyline for your park. So continue. Objectives. Here are our objectives. Make a firework display, catch our pickpockets, build the 10 coasters. And I can't do anything to him because he is locked. You can change the... that's good. You can still change that stuff. But I can't get rid of it because it's locked. And here is our scenario. So there you go. That's generally just a very brief overview of how the scenario maker editor thing works. So that's all I'm doing today, guys. Just a very quick one to show you the brief overview of that. So yeah, have a play with it. I'd love to see what you guys are going to create. I might do a series of playing some of the scenarios that have been made up on the workshop. So if you've got any you'd like me to have a look at, please send them over to me, and I will take a cheeky peek. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching. Give us a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you've got any questions, queries, or comments, please drop them down, and I will answer every single one. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.